Drew McIntyre is looking for a Claymore to put away Roman Reigns. He runs at him. He launches a Claymore kick, but Sami Zayn dives in front again. And McIntyre is confused, and he runs at Reigns, trying to hit him with another Claymore, but Reigns was ready. He spears McIntyre, and Clash at the Castle goes off the air with a very familiar image. Do you think this is what will go down when WWE heads to the UK? If you do, you can download the DraftKings app right now using the link in the description and try and win your share of $10,000 using my special code MurfsYT13 when you sign up. All you have to do for your chance to win is make predictions on what you think will happen. It's that simple. Try and predict who's going to return or who's going to win their match. You can use your wrestling expertise to win money. And the best part is, it is free to play. So that's a free crack at your share of $10,000. Just use code MurfsYT13 when you sign up and get predicting. Thanks so much to DraftKings, who are an official gaming partner of the WWE, by the way, for showing love and sponsoring this video. They've shown me awesome support, and so did Sami Zayn to Roman Reigns in Wales. And Reigns has some big news for Sami Zayn. He says he has the wise man working on getting him another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. He says we can't have you in the Bloodline officially without a championship, can we? And Zayn's excited. He says, you mean there's a chance I can be in the Bloodline for real? And Roman says, yeah, but you've just got to keep your head on a swivel. But Jey Uso doesn't like this. He doesn't think Sami Zayn can be trusted, but Roman quickly shuts it down. He says, I don't see you taking any Claymores, and we're blood. So I think you two should take the night off and go home, and Sami and I will hold it down. Sami says, thanks so much, Mr. Reigns. And Roman says, hey, you can call me Roman. Sami can't believe it. He says, okay, Roman, I'm going to go get ready for my match, and I guess I'll see you later. Later in the night, Zayn is in that very match when we suddenly see something going on in the crowd. It's Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, and they are going toe-to-toe. They're throwing hands and causing chaos, and Zayn is half trying to focus on the match, but half keeping an eye on what's going on in the crowd. And Owens manages to land a stunner, and he lays out the Tribal Chief. Owens yells at Reigns, and he says, I'm a prize fighter, and you're holding my prize. Zayn is forced to abandon the match. He runs down, but he's a little bit torn. He says, Kev, hey, come on, man, relax. We can figure this out. And Owens says, tell that to your daddy. You've changed. Why the hell would you want to be around these dudes anyway? And Owens walks off before security arrives because he's not allowed to be on SmackDown. And he leaves Sami Zayn with a lot to think about. And Zayn helps Roman to his feet, but Roman pushes him over. And he yells at Sami, says, where were you on that one? I sent Jimmy and Jey home because I thought we would hold it down. I can trust you, can't I? Sami says, yeah, of course. And Roman snaps at him again and he says, then make it right next week. The next week, Sami is snuck backstage on Raw, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to make it right for Roman. And as he's pacing around, he's approached by Kevin Owens, who says, I saw what happened after I walked off last week. Why the hell do you let him talk to you like that? You know he's just using you. He uses everyone. Don't fall for it. Sami snaps at him. He says, Kevin, you don't know him like I do. I'm an honorary Us, soon to be a full-blown Bloodline member. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't let you talk to me like this. You've never believed me, even when I told you there was a conspiracy against me. And guess what? I showed Roman the rough cut of my documentary, and he said he liked it. Kind of. He said it was a little long, but it doesn't matter. He believes me. So now what, Kevin, huh? In fact, you know what? Roman sent me here to make it right, so maybe I should do that right now. And Owens squares up. He's ready to go. But then, quickly, Owens backs away. And Sami starts laughing. He says, ha! See? You're scared, Kevin. You can talk the talk, but you can't walk the walk. You're all bark and no bite. We then see the reason he backed away. The Usos are standing behind Sami Zayn. And Zayn turns around and says, ha! Did you see that? Roman told me to make it right, and I just intimidated Kevin out of the building. Jey Uso's not in the mood to joke around. He says, shut the hell up, Sami. He left because of us. You haven't made anything right since you started hanging around us. It's then security run in and tell Sami to leave. He has no authority to be in the building. The Usos are allowed to be there. They're the undisputed tag champions of both brands. But Sami, he isn't. He's begging Jay and Jimmy to do something, but they don't say a word, and Sami is ushered out by security. Later in the week, Paul Heyman is letting Sami know that he's organised the #1 contendership match for the Intercontinental Championship, and Sami is so excited, but the celebration is cut short when they're joined by Adam Pearce, who says, not only does Sami have a #1 contenders match next week, so does Kevin Owens on Raw. But not for the Intercontinental Championship, for the undisputed Universal Championship. Heyman is stunned. Pearce walks out and Heyman says, I thought you made it right, Sami. You told me that Kevin Owens was taken care of. Well now, I guess you might have to go and really make it right on Raw. Owens is facing Seth Rollins for a shot at Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. But Sami is having all kinds of trouble getting in. He's trying all kinds of tactics as well. He tries a disguise, wearing a very generic looking lucha mask. But that doesn't work. He tries to force his way in, but security gets hold of him and he can't do it. He eventually manages to scalp a ticket from a fan out the front and he pays way too much money. But at least he's in just in time for the main event. But the ticket he purchased wasn't for the front row. So he's up in the bleachers and he's yelling and screaming. And Owens happens to notice him and confronts him from a distance late in the match. And Owens says, are you going to make it right, Sami, huh? Let's go! Let's go! But Sami appears somewhat hesitant. You can tell he isn't fully in on hurting Kevin Owens. He's still a great friend of many years, but he's so worried about the wrath of the Bloodline. But before he even needs to do anything, Seth Rollins hits him with a pedigree on the outside, rolls him into the ring, and hits him with a curb stomp and pins him. Zayn didn't even have to physically touch him, but he gets the job done. And this makes the Tribal Chief very happy on SmackDown. He says that Sami has shown a lot of loyalty and he will make sure he wins his #1 contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship tonight. And not only that, the family is going to make sure you win that championship against Gunther as well. You just take care of business in the ring and we'll take care of business out of it. Ricochet and Sami Zayn have just started their match and it takes no time for chaos to ensue. Kevin Owens bursts through the backstage area and he's wiping out security. He's charging through, he doesn't care. He's on a mission. And Zayn has absolutely no idea. He's trying to beat Ricochet. But he quickly finds out because Owens, who's taken out everybody backstage, walks out into the arena. But he's confronted and cut off by the Usos. They stand in his way. And Owens stops for a second and he says, if I have to go through you both, I will. But then Jey Uso does something bizarre. He lets Owens through. He forces Jimmy to step aside as well, and they both let Owens in the ring. He goes right at Zayn, and he hits him with a stunner. But that gets Ricochet disqualified. Sami Zayn actually wins. But Owens never cared about that. He just wants to get at Zayn for costing him a chance at Reigns. Zayn and Owens fight all the way around the ringside area, and then we see the Tribal Chief emerge. He storms out to the ring, berating the Usos, and he screams at them, are you two just gonna stand there? Reigns is so annoyed. He runs around and he attempts a spear on Owens, but he moves, and Reigns spears Zayn instead. Reigns spins around and gets caught with a stunner by Owens. The Usos now start running towards Owens, but Owens knows he can't wait around and he dips over the barricade quickly. He looks back at the damage done and drinks it in before making sure to get the hell out of the building. It's time for Sami's big moment, and Roman Reigns has given a stern warning to Jimmy and Jay earlier ahead of the big night. He said that Sami is part of the plan now. So if I see either of you pull a stunt like that again, both of your heads will roll. And Zayn has held up his end of the bargain as well. The Usos were defending the tag team championships against the War Raiders, and it was Sami Zayn who helped them get the win. And now it's his chance to hold gold, but it's all Gunther. He's so dominant and Sami is struggling. And with Roman Reigns preoccupied focusing on Seth Rollins for the main event, it appears that Sami could be on his own. He knows he has to dig down deep, and he does. He fights back, and he hits a blue thunderbolt. He can't put him away with that, but he gets him into the corner, and everyone knows that it's time. But it's then, of course, Kevin Owens storms out from the back, but stepping in front of Owens again, it's the Usos. And Kevin Owens says, "Step aside, boys." Just like last time, you know the drill. Hell, you can join in if you want. But they don't step aside, and Jay says, "Not this time, Kev. He's with us." Owens then tries to get through, but he gets dropped, and the Usos are standing up for Zayn. But Zayn was watching what was happening, and Gunther's recovered, and he runs at Zayn looking for a lariat, but he gets out of the way. It's a brilliant counter, and Zayn goes to the corner. He hits a Superman punch, and Gunther climbs his way up into the corner, and Zayn lines him up for a massive haluva kick. But Zayn isn't done. He goes to the corner again. Gunther is tough, and he's getting to his feet. Zayn hits him with a very familiar move to end the match. Sami Zayn wins the Intercontinental Championship. What a moment! And it becomes apparent that Sami has chosen the title over friendship. And the momentum continues later that night. Jay, Jimmy, and Sami all play an integral part in Roman Reigns retaining his championship against Seth. Jay, Jimmy, and Sami all show up in Shield riot gear to provide a timely distraction. Rollins gets folded in half by a spear, and all four men now carry almost every championship they can physically hold. And as they're celebrating, Owens runs out again. He's trying to get at Sami, but the Usos cut him off again, and they start beating him down. Reigns joins in, but Sami stays back. You can see a seed of doubt in his mind. Is he regretting his choice? Well, Reigns brings this up on SmackDown. He asks Sami why he's apprehensive about going at Owens. He mentions the fact that Owens assaulted him, and he keeps trying to get at him. And he says, "Are you having second thoughts? Sami, you're an Intercontinental Champion. You're so close to being a fully fledged Bloodline member. But I can't induct you until I can fully trust you." And Sami snaps. He says, "I'm not in. Are you kidding me? I've done everything. I've won the title. I've taken Claymores. I've helped Jimmy and Jay. I helped you. And I'm not in the Bloodline yet?" And Sami starts to walk away, and Reigns says, "Sami, think about what you're doing right now. You really want to turn your back on me?" Sami stops. Doesn't turn around. But before we can hear his answer, the Usos have taken Kevin Owens out in the car park. But it's then we see Sami Zayn burst into the same car park. He's followed closely by Roman Reigns. Jimmy and Jay back away. What's he gonna do? Owens has been trying to get him, but can you blame him? Zayn cost him the chance to face Reigns, but it was under duress. Now Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens are standing next to each other, and Sami Zayn has a genuine choice to make. And it's clear Zayn has made his choice. He's chosen Roman Reigns and the Bloodline over his friend. And this prompts a major response from Owens on Raw. He is outraged. He says, "Sami, I tried to warn you. They're using you. They're going to chew you up and spit you out. But they're the least of your worries. I'm now your biggest threat. And if you got the balls, I want to fight you at Survivor Series because I'm a prize fighter. And my prize was the Universal Championship, but now it's the Intercontinental Championship. And the other prize is your career because I'm going to end it. The choice is yours, Oos." Sami hasn't responded verbally, but he responds physically on SmackDown. He is dominating his opponent, and he locks in the Koji clutch. And while he has it locked in, he demands that the camera come closer. The opponent is screaming in agony, and Zayn starts talking to Owens. He says, "See this, Kevin? This is your future. This is my answer. I'll see you at Survivor Series." His opponent passes out, and Sami lets it go, sending a direct message to Kevin Owens ahead of the big battle. The weeks leading to Survivor Series are chaos as you'd expect. Sami is trying to get to Owens on Raw, but he can't. Owens is trying to get to Zayn on SmackDown, but he can't. And just before their match, Roman Reigns has some news for Sami Zayn. He says, This week on SmackDown, I'm thinking we're going to be inducting a brand new member into the Bloodline. And Sami's so excited, he says, Roman, that's great! I can't wait. I might even wear a suit. Reigns loves it, he says, of course. Do your thing, Sami, but concentrate on the match tonight. Wipe out Owens for both of us. Then, the big induction. The battle is on and Sami is even more fired up knowing that the Bloodline is adding a new member. He comes out firing. Owens and Zayn have faced so many times in their career, but Owens hasn't experienced this kind of Zayn before. The match is an instant classic. Owens nearly puts away Zayn. Zayn gives it right back and nearly puts away Owens. But the lure of being an official member of the Bloodline drives Sami Zayn to territory he's never been. He rips up the ringside mats, exposing the concrete underneath, and he then does something unthinkable. Zayn rolls him in the ring. He lifts him up and props him up in the corner. Owens can barely stand. Zayn doesn't even hesitate. He smashes him with a haluva kick. But just like when Owens first won the championship from Zayn in NXT, he doesn't stop. He props him up again. Boom! Another haluva kick. He picks him up again and smashes him with another one. And then he goes to pick him up again, but the referee calls off the match. He has to. Owens can't defend himself. Just like Zayn couldn't defend himself when he lost the NXT championship to Owens. Zayn gets the huge win and retains the Intercontinental Championship. And he's quickly joined by the Usos. Reigns isn't out there. He's getting ready for his Universal Championship match, but the Usos tell him that the Tribal Chief has an order. He wants Kevin Owens gone. And Sami Zayn doesn't even hesitate. He throws Kevin Owens to the outside, and just like in NXT again, he smashes him with an apron powerbomb. But he knows he isn't done. He picks him up again and drops him on the apron again, leaving Kevin Owens down and out and with untold injuries. Zayn has left his friend of 20 plus years laying motionless just for the quest to join the Bloodline. Roman Reigns retains in the main event as expected, and the Bloodline has gone from strength to strength. But it's time for the induction, and we're moments away. This is a huge moment for Sami Zayn. It's all he's wanted. But first, Roman Reigns has an idea to celebrate the newest member of the Bloodline. He says to Sami Zayn that, I think you should have an Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge. Show the world the new Sami Zayn, and show the world that the Bloodline is ready to fight anywhere, anytime. And Sami says, I'm not really dressed to compete. I'm wearing a suit. Wouldn't it be better to just do it? And Roman says, no, you'll be fine. It's just a local guy. Bloodline has to be ready to go anywhere, anytime. We want to send a message. And Sami says, okay, I guess I can destroy someone from this horrendous town and then we can make the induction. I can't wait, Roman. This is so big for me. And Zayn comes out for his open challenge, full of confidence and backed by the Bloodline. And then we find out who his opponent is. Zayn is so confused. It's Solo Sikoa, the brother of Jimmy and Jay, the cousin of Roman. He's blood. Zayn turns to Reigns and says, what the hell is he doing here? And Reigns doesn't say anything. And it starts to dawn on Zayn. Everything that Owens warned him about is coming true. The bell rings and he gets dropped from behind. He gets laid out. Sikoa goes right to the top and nails Zayn with a splash. Solo Sikoa is the new Intercontinental Champion. Zayn was strung along. He was never in line to be in the Bloodline. Kevin Owens was right. All four men stand looking down at Zayn, and Roman says, I told you we were inducting a new member, but I never said it was you. And just like that, Sami Zayn learns the hard way that blood is thicker than water, whether you like it or not. And if you like this scenario, you should check this one out next.